All right, today we'll be talking about something interesting, and I know this is a conversation a lot of us have not had. And I'll first start with a build-up story. 2 weeks ago, I was home, and all of a sudden, there was lights interruption, and I was wondering what kind of country is this? I'm in Band A, and we're still fighting for lights. Recently, there was this trend on social media where the residents of Omole actually marched to IKED office, and they kept on complaining how, oh, we're Band A and we're not getting what we're paying for. So then there was this very viral video on social media also, a solar panel on the roof on fire. And the question I asked myself is, how is this possible? What's happening? So then again, we thought, okay, well, let's bring somebody that is into the business, somebody that understands the ecosystem to explain, and of course, drive the conversation and have other conversations. Trust me, I have a lot of questions. But before then, we'll just go on this short break. When we're back, the conversation will begin, and I will introduce my guest. So we're back, guys, and I'm about to introduce who we have in the studio today, and she has so much aura around her, I must say. She has so much aura. When she steps in, I'm like, oh, okay, this is actually going to be an interview. I have to be really serious. All right. So before I tell her to tell me a few other stuff about her, I'm going to be reading her bio. And ladies and gentlemen, today we have Professor Chiso Ndukwe-Okafor. She's a distinguished leader in consumer advocacy, technology, and education. She's the current executive director of Consumer Advocacy and Empowerment Foundation, CADEF. She drives initiatives that empower and protect consumers in Nigeria. With over 33 years of experience in higher education, IT, and business strategy, she has worked across the US, Nigeria, Kenya, and Zambia. So you know we're not playing today. She also fosters capacity building and also has conversations around regulatory advancements. She's a passionate woman who advocates for girls in technology. She drives initiatives to increase participation across different STEMs. And she's a senior entrepreneur, software developer, and author. Professor Ndukwe is a trailblazer in red tech, leveraging technology to enhance consumer rights, financial inclusion, and economic empowerment. Thank you so much, Ma. You're welcome, Ma.
Thank you. I was wondering who they were talking about.
Did I do good with the introductions, or what did I miss out?
Oh, please. Let's forget what you missed out. You did very well.
All right. Because there may be something that's probably you missed out that I missed out on.
No, that's fine.
All right. So the conversation majorly is around renewable energy. Mm-hmm. I would like to sometimes call it alternative source of energy. Mm-hmm. So what's the industry like in terms of renewable energy? What's the trend now? What trends are going on? What can we see going on? Because I can see that the government is also trying to invest in that side of life. So what's the industry like and what are the trends like?
Well, when you're talking trends, there's the trends, global trends, as well as trends in Nigeria. Globally, everybody's trying to shift away from fossil fuels. Whether it's possible, feasible, is another story. But the truth is that everybody realizes we need to do something. Otherwise, climate change issues, the warming of the whole industry. I mean, the world itself. So, but in Nigeria, the trend, they're recognizing the importance. And we also do recognize that, unfortunately, the electricity capacity, production capacity in Nigeria is not able to meet the needs. Like you just mentioned about Omole, the residents of Omole marching down and say we're Band A. And the law, it states that if you're Band A, you should get a minimum of 20 hours. But I'm also in Band A and I don't see that. And so we already understand that. Load shedding, whatever excuse they have, we are not producing enough electricity with the current generation that Nigeria has for Nigeria, of what Nigeria needs. So the trend is that we're all moving to alternative energy. And when you talk to alternative energy, alternative to what we have is the solar energy, hydrothermal energy. There's all kinds geothermal energy. So there are all kinds of energy out there that that people are using.
Alternatives, yeah.
In Nigeria, where most recently people are focusing on looking at solar energy and a little bit also into hydro energy, where you use water to generate your energy.
Yeah, interesting. You touched on solar energy, and I know that is one field that you're really vast in. So we saw videos, and that was one of the reasons why we thought, okay, yeah, we need to actually invite an expert to the studio. There was this very particular video, I don't know if you saw it, that the solar panels on the roof was on fire.
Yeah.
So what do you think might have caused that, before I go into, for house owners right now, homeowners right now, what do I need to do? What are the things I need to put in place before I get in solar?
Okay. So, as a curious person, I get into things that is really not my business, but I do. And solar happens to be one of them. But what really pushed me now is understanding the lack, with the research we did, we saw the lack of understanding or knowledge of what solar is, what people are buying, what is in the market. And so the opportunity came for CADEF, Consumer Advocacy and Empowerment Foundation, to develop a one-stop website. It's a one-stop hub website, der.cadefng.org. It's a free access to anybody. And when you go on that website, we focus on explaining the different types of solar panels, the different types of batteries, what you should look out for. Depending on your location in Nigeria, it even tells you how much solar energy that is average in your area. Because we think that because we all get sun,
yeah,
you should realize once the sun's going down, it doesn't produce any energy for your solar panels to be able to convert to electricity. So it's really that key time. So we have a map there to help you locate. But most importantly, we developed a calculator so you can go down to entering the components in your simple calculator, and we have the advanced calculator. The simple calculator helps you just to select the components of electronics, gadgets you have in your house, the light points, and it gives you on average the capacity of energy you need. And with that, you can now go to the advanced calculator to select, okay, I need this type of inverter, I need this so many solar panels, depending on the production of each, watts on each panel.
Yeah.
So back to solar panels catching on fire. Several reasons. One of the major reasons is, one, lack of experience of the installers. In our research, we also noted there are no standards for certification. And that's one thing I want to reach out to Lagos State to say, we can help you develop those standards so that the installers get certified. There are no standards. People are interning under somebody that is not trained properly. So what I've learned is what I'm going to give you. Okay, I can't give you more than what I have.
Yes.
And so as a result, you find people installing haphazardly. They're not even paying attention to the direction of the sun, because it's important to angle the solar panel based on the direction of the sun of where your house is. Another issue is that the space between the solar panel and the roof, if there's not proper airflow, it can cause overheating. And we do know that our roofs might not be fireproof. I don't know the standard of the roofing sheets that we're using in Nigeria, whether they are fire resistant or not. But my suspicion is that it isn't. And because it isn't, it's easy to help the combustion of the fire. So one is the installation. If it's not a proper airflow, another is also based on the connections. A lot of times, I experienced this in my office, because the first guy that connected our solar, later on they just used wire to connect it. Horrible. So you can cause an electrical arc that will cause sparks. And when it causes sparks, then the tendency for your solar panel to catch fire is there. The third one, besides installation, the third one is the components itself. There are no standards, unfortunately, in Nigeria on what is being imported into the country. So the solar panels can be really cheap, made very cheaply. The wire itself can also be, if it's not properly insulated, you don't use regular wires to do solar panels. There are different types of wires, not just the insulated wires. So wiring is a big issue. Not only that the wires need to be insulated, but also the size of your wire. If you use the wrong sizing of your wire, so you use a 4 millimeter, but you have an 11 kV inverter, it's going to overheat and cause a fire. So the fire can happen in the solar panel, but it can also happen between the connection of the inverter, the charge controller, and your batteries. So it is important that the right wiring is used, even connecting the batteries to each other. Whether you're using the lithium batteries, or you're using the pop and the other types of batteries, you have to make sure the wiring, the size is correct, the type of wires are correct. So from a wiring perspective, from experience of installations, from the quality of the materials being brought into the country, all of these things can trigger a fire. But before a fire starts, it will also give you signs. You can hear buzzing signs on your inverter. You can see your shut-off connections going off and on. Yes. You can also send somebody on the roof to observe if there are patches on the solar panels. So if there are patches on the solar panels, it means that quality of your solar panel was really cheap. It's poor. And therefore, the potential for it to catch fire is already there.
That's a whole lot. I was going to say Chibuzo. Go and get trained.
Why are you calling Chibuzo?
This is not. It don't.
How about Emeka?
No, I mean.
Or Tunde?
Or Paul?
Or Mohammed?
Exactly.
Exactly.
So go and get trained. Don't just think you can. So there's this guy that came to fix my TV at home, and was like, oh, he just watched it on YouTube, and from that day he just started installing. And he's the Holy Spirit that just taught him how to install.
Which is fine. I'm not going to take away on the capacity of the Holy Spirit to teach a person, but can you just add a certification to it?
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. That was the point I was trying to make. Okay, so there's the conversation about how, is solar as an alternative cheaper than using my regular generator or my diesel generator?
Okay, so in my house I have solar, I have diesel, and I have NEPA. Okay, so running diesel, the cost of fuel has gone up so high. In the past, running a diesel generator or a petrol generator, the cost was understandable. But the cost of energy, which is fuel, has gone up so much higher that in the long run, if the lifespan of your solar panel is 5 years, your inverter may be 10 years, in the long run, even though the lifespan might say 5 years, if it's a very good quality solar panel, it can even go to 10, 15 years. In the long run, you save. You're not only saving on the cost, but you're saving on the peace of mind, on the noise. I'm telling you, I don't hear any noise. You sleep well. So the noise pollution, as well as the combustion pollution that is going on in the country. So you're saving. And then in addition to that, you're also saving the world, because now you're reducing the emissions. You're reducing the your carbon footprint in the world. And so, of course, you're saving your environment. Yes, it's worth it. Because we also know Nigeria does not have the capacity to produce the enough power that we need. So, yeah.
Okay, so I'll just like to take you on a little, because of people. A couple of people would say yes, it's actually expensive, because it's something I've actually looked out to get in my own house myself. And you probably hear the average panel costs around, I think, 250,000 naira, like to get the large size, or 200,000.
Depending on whether it's 100 watts, 200 watts. Yeah.
Exactly.
So it depends on the watts. Yeah.
So a couple of people would say, oh, before I could actually get 4 of those kind of panels, because that was the issue I had. Because if I had one, it could not carry my fans, it could not pick up my freezer, it couldn't do a bunch of other stuff. But I needed to have like 4 panels, 3 panels on the roof before it could actually do what I needed to do.
Okay.
So that was why I didn't go into that. So what would you say in terms of cost, in terms of costing?
Okay.
And are there opportunities for people to, I don't know, maybe schemes where people can
financing?
Exactly.
Yeah. I know the initial cost outlay is very high. Solar panels, as each year goes by, they're becoming more efficient and cheaper. 250,000 sounds like quite a lot, but I don't know the capacity on how many watts they were offering you. The cost outlay can be quite troublesome, but there are several things you have to put into context. One is, if you're working from home or you're working from your office, when you don't have power, you can't work. So the cost to the economy is so high because of loss of production time. Now, the financing options, as we were creating this website, we realized the challenge of finding financing options. There are out there, Access Bank. There's a few places. If you go on the website, der.cadfng.org, you will find under solutions financing a list of places that you can go, whether it's pay as you go or low interest rate, depending on whether each financing, whether it's a bank, that opportunity that you have. It is there. But besides that, I strongly believe the government needs to get involved. And the way the government has to get involved, they do have wonderful policy initiatives. We do understand in our policy initiatives, implementation is another issue. I don't think anybody beats Nigeria with some serious policies. It's the implementation that has a challenge. But besides the implementation, we need to push policies that removes the tariffs on importing those equipment. So imagine you're able to get it for 50,000, but by the time it goes through customs and everything, it's double the price. So you're dealing with the duties. That's what a lot of countries do. Duties need to be removed. If, in some other countries, if you supply your own electricity using renewable energies such as solar, you get a tax rebate. Colombia gives 50% tax rebate over a period of time. You are allowed to depreciate the equipment, quickly depreciate the equipment, so it reduces your taxable income. So for businesses, it becomes viable for them to say that I'm going to invest in producing my own power, because of the tax rebates. We have to build Nigeria as a producing economy, as a manufacturing economy, as an industrial economy. We cannot be known as an importing economy. So if there are people out there who want to set up an industry to manufacture solar panels or charge controllers, whatever it is, please provide them with economic rebates that would encourage them. But instead, we're taxing everybody. But you forget, I was looking at what India has been doing for 10 years, what India has been able to do. It's unbelievable, India. They took a posture to say, we're going to provide energy to people who are willing to become manufacturers, because they know if they employ you or employ me, I'm going to pay my income tax. So money is still going to come back to the government. You know, I saw people were clapping for customs because they've generated billions and billions for the economy. They are not even thinking. You're generating revenue by taxing the people for making Nigeria a dumping ground. There are certain things that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I get, and I'm trying my best not to make us deviate, because if we
get back to, let's get back to, yeah,
exactly. But it will just be one more question as regards the government. But before I ask that question,
yes,
I would like to say, CADEF was, will I use the word launched in December?
No. So CADEF is a registered non-governmental organization registered in 2008. Okay. It was registered, and over the years, they've been involved, right on the surface with things. I stepped into the role of CADEF, having lived abroad for over 40 years. I decided to come back and give back. Not only give back, I love Nigeria. I don't think there's any other country greater than Nigeria, despite the challenges we have. And so I took over, I stepped into this role around 2018, 2019. And from there, we began to build. So we've been involved in everything you can think that concerns a consumer. So we've done digital financial literacy. We've focused on persons with disabilities, providing resources and training. We've done digital literacy for women in doing their small businesses, how to use digital marketing to build their businesses. We deal with consumer clubs in secondary schools. So we've worked with menstrual hygiene in the underserved areas. We've done literacy along Lagos, Ondo, Osun states, and empowering young people, over 100 young people on their financial literacy, because I realized a lot of people are clueless. We want to go into cybersecurity for young people, because now with AI, responsible use of AI is an area we're really exploring to push that initiative. So yes, we're involved in anything that concerns you. We're involved in. Yes.
So, because why I asked that question was because I wanted to say, how has CADEF been engaging the government?
Yeah.
And how has government also been supporting the ideologies of CADEF?
Okay. So CADEF, we are very much involved with the different stakeholders, the government being one of the stakeholders. We have close working relationships with FCCPC, the Federal Consumer Protection across Abuja and other states. We are also working, Lagos State is one of the only states that has a local consumer protection, a state protection agency, LASCOPA. So we work closely with them. We also work with different state agencies, RIAN, NERC, NAFDAC, SON, because there are just so many issues and challenges, and we require these regulatory agencies to partner with them. So they are very strong partners, yes.
Okay, so going back to, okay, let me put you on the spot. On a scale of 1 to 10, rate the government's involvement
With CADF or in consumer
in
protection.
terms of consumer protection.
FCCPC, I'll rate them an 8 over 10.
Oh, so we're doing agencies. Okay.
No.
No, let's do agencies.
Because,
agencies.
yeah,
Let's do agencies.
FCCPC, because I know what they do. They're serious. They do a lot of work. One of the major challenges is proper funding. So they need to have offices across the 36 states. They have said that they're trying to have that happen. But if they're not funded, they can't really do that. We do also realize that the government can do everything, that there is a need for them to partner with civil organizations, NGOs. LASCOPA does a lot for Lagos State. They do quite a lot.
So I want us to give them like a grade. FCPC over 10.
I would grade them about 8, 8.5. If they had more funding, their numbers would go much higher.
I have a lot of friends that have said a lot of Instagram vendors have actually scammed them, and they've gotten the FCPC to get them their money back.
Yes.
So, I will agree.
Yes, they're doing very well. LASCOPA, they're doing a lot, but Lagos doesn't. A lot of people in Lagos don't know about them. So that's why we're also helping to push, because they are mandated. FCCPC is mandated by law to prosecute. So is also LASCOPA. So people need to know, okay, there is help available for you. Yes. I would rate them quite high, maybe 7.5, and it's because of an awareness.
Yes.
Because a lot of people don't know about them. Not because they don't do their job. They do their job excellently well. NAFDAC has started picking up.
Yeah,
that's all I can say.
I've been seeing a lot of flash.
They've started picking up. They dulled for a while. They started picking up. SON has also dulled for a while. One of the challenges is also who knows who. If we go back to solar panels, how are people able to bring in products that don't meet a standard into Nigeria? Why should somebody? It's because there are no penalties. If I know that I'm going to be penalized for bringing a shoddy solar panel,
yes.
If I know I'm going to go to jail, I would tell the manufacturers this is the standard and that's the standard. Every solar panel has a serial number. If you go to that serial number and check online, it'll tell you the capacity. So even if they use a sticker and say this is 100 watts, that's what they do. But it's actually only 50 watts solar panel. That's why they'll tell you you need 4. Because the capacity it claims it's producing is not what it's coming out. But if you took their serial number and checked, you will tell you that this particular one was 50 watts, even though the label says 100 watts. SON needs to step up. They need to step up because they are the standard organization of Nigeria. And that's one thing we want to push for, that there would be not only for the installers a standard, but a standard for the equipment, the stuff that they bring into the country or that is produced in the country. That needs to happen.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking to get certified installers, where are those right places? Where can I get them?
Okay, good luck.
So if I'm trying to get like actual,
that's one of the things we're trying to see if we can find funding. We're hoping to build some collaborations either with vocational schools, with technical schools, even with the universities, to build a collaboration with them that people who are interested, whether you have a degree or not, you can be trained. We need to train our everyday Joe that says he's an installer or says he's a technician, because the installer might do a good job.
yeah,
But the electrician that wired your house, that did all the wiring, will screw you up.
True, I agree.
Because the fire can start because of the electrical components that was used. Do you know that your solar panel has to be grounded, separate from the grounding your house has? But a lot of time they tell you, oh, your house is grounded, you're okay. No. So the grounding of the solar panels has to be a totally separate thing. Those are the things that when I speak with some of the installers, they are not aware because nobody trained them properly. So we're willing to partner with Lagos State that would say, okay, we'll help you build out this thing so that it's properly done and so that anybody who wants to be a solar panel technician can come and get trained properly. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I think that answers the question that we really don't have a lot of
No,
skill
we don't. We don't.
and we need to do better.
We need to do that. There are microgrids. You know what a microgrid is?
Yes.
There are microgrids that are being set up in different parts of the country. Nigeria actually, in, let me not quote myself wrong, but they had that by this year, all the tertiary universities will be run by solar. Funding was released. I tell you, it's not even up to 30% complete. I don't know why. Don't ask me. I don't know. But we have a lot of things in the books that says things need to be done. The training needs to be set up. So microgrids, if you put a microgrid, say, for example, at University of Ibadan, because it's a federal school, it means that the entire school is run on solar. Of course, now you have to train the technicians in the school. You have to train them to manage, maintain, and secure the equipment so that by the time they graduate, they have those skills. And they can now, and they're certified. So there needs to be some level of certification, not high-end, Yabatech degree thing. A solar technician certification. We have to know what the standards are in order to properly train them on the standards.
Interesting. So do you see solar energy, or let's say alternative sources of energy, beating the traditional source of energy?
Of course.
Do you see phasing it out?
Of course, no. We don't have the capacity to supply what we need. We're not even supplying 40% of what the economy needs. We're not. And people are moving away from fossil fuels. So, of course, there has to be a combination of renewable energy and the traditional energy in any country. They're doing it in the United States, they're doing it in Europe, they're doing it in UK. There has to be a combination. We've recognized it. We've signed agreements, the Paris Agreement. There's so many instruments Nigeria has gone and signed and said, yeah, we're part of SDG, whatever. But the fact is, because we do know we need it. It won't phase it out. It will be working in collaboration, working together, so that at the end, there'll be net metering. When I produce more electricity than I need and my battery pack is full, whatever I've produced that is above and beyond should, net metering says it should go back into Ikeja Electric as a bank for me. So that when, say, rainy season is up and I'm not getting enough sun in Lagos like I would want to, I can go back to the bank, and as I'm using NEPA, I'm not paying because I've banked so much, or I've created a reserve for them that they can give it to somebody else. So net metering needs to happen. I mean, it's on paper in our policy, but the connection doesn't exist yet.
Implementation.
So for me, I produce more than I need because I'm in my house, because I made sure I have enough. That extra could be given to my neighbor. That would now create a mini grid, a micro mini grid for me and my neighbors. And then if we're all connected, so when mine is not producing enough and my neighbor is, we connect also.
Wow. So I would like you to say some final words for someone that is hesitant in terms of, do I really want to move to the, I like to call it the better side of life, because I don't like noise. I think Lagos is very noisy.
Extremely.
think it was very noisy. So for someone that's hesitant to move to solar power, what's that one thing you're going to say to them to encourage them or to advise them that, okay, I think you need to move to this?
I mean, it's there. It's right in everybody's face. Start saving. Have a financial plan, a budgeting system. Excuse me. And you say, I'll give myself, excuse me, I'll give myself 6 months, I'll give myself 1 year, let me start saving. Do you know what some people do? They'll buy the solar panel and keep it. Then they buy charge control and keep. Then they buy inverter and keep. Over a while, they've gotten all their... So you don't have to put all the money up front. You buy a little bit at a time so that you build up. You could start with 2 solar panels instead of the 4 that was recommended. You can even start with 1 and let it just be all your light points and you're charging your phone and your laptop. Then when you have some money, you increase the solar panel. And so you build it out that way. So that's how you do that. Renewable energy is here to stay. We're running an incubator program, we advertise it that people who have innovative ideas on renewable energy. We had a lot of young people, and we're doing a 9-month incubator program to help them to build their concept and their ideas into a viable business. So these are things that we could push in Nigeria. Encourage the young people. If you have amazing ideas, let's start working on it. See where that takes us. There is so many things we can do. But for you, my advice is, do you like electricity? Yes or no? Do you want to charge your phone? Mm-hmm. Do you need it to do whether it's remote work? Yes. You need to invest in it.
Yes, you need to invest in it. And you made mention of the incubator program. I think that's something TECHECONOMY would love to be a part of.
Okay.
In terms of like doing some documentary.
Okay.
So I'll speak to my producer and we'll just talk about how we can.
Okay. No challenge.
All right. No challenge. So thank you so much, Prof, for coming.
Thank
to
you
the studio.
so much
I really
for
enjoyed
having
this
me.
And I think one big take I would say is no matter what, start small. And I think a lot of small businesses have really suffered a lot because of. I mean, my mom used to run a frozen food business, but she had to pack up because. I mean.
But then, there's an alternative. There's a solar cooler, freezer.
I figured that out, I think, a year ago. I saw that.
Yes, cool box.
And it was like a fully established company.
Yes.
That's the only thing they do in Nigeria. Yes. Import those freezers and you just...
Solar.
Exactly.
So there are things that we could do. There are opportunities. Unfortunately, I see the young people today, everybody wants to either japa or become a billionaire overnight. You can be a content creator as long as you make sense, not do stupid things, but make sense. Or they want to be a billionaire in 1 hour without doing anything. That's quite unfortunate. It's not going to happen. Anybody who promises you that is lying to you. Whether you're kidnapping people, you'll be caught one day. You work hard and you build up gradually. If you want to be a billionaire overnight, go look at those people who won the lottery and became overnight millionaires and billionaires worldwide. Most of them, 90%, 99% of them say they wish they never won it because they didn't build up skills on how to maintain what they're getting, on how to prosper in the gift that was given to them. And the same thing will happen to us because we live a lifestyle that is flashy. I have a bulletproof car and a Rolex watch. When you die, none of them will go with you. So what's the essence? The essence of living is to become a productive member of society, giving and receiving with love, becoming our brother's keeper. If we don't get back to it...
Wow. You heard it here, you heard it here, you heard it here, you heard it here. So if you have people that want to have conversations with you and connect with you, to have meaningful conversations, I need to put that out here. Meaningful conversations, how can they reach out to you? And how can they reach out to
Kadef.
Kadef,
Yes. Well, they can go online. They can find us online on us across the social media platforms. Um, cadefng.org. They can send an email to info@cadef.
See me, you want to have a one-on-one interaction with me, I mean, you can also come for the webinar. I'll be there.
Thank you very much.
All right. All right. So
Thank
till
you.
next time, interesting conversation. Thank you so much, Prof. But do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on notification bell, because that's the only way we can keep on giving you this kind of exclusives and this kind of information that you actually need. And like I said, a lot of small businesses right now are really struggling because of electricity in Nigeria. And I think somebody said one time that if the electricity problem in Nigeria can be solved, we've solved half of our problems in this country.
Exactly.
So, I mean, solar power is an alternative that I think a lot of you should look into, and in particular about small businesses. Because if small businesses can do good.
And if you look at the way businesses are run in Nigeria, you see shops, 4 of them can come together. You need only 2 solar panels, an inverter, and your battery. 4 batteries. It'll give you constant electricity for all your points. So let the businesses, this individualistic, I don't want you, is nonsense. Come together. And come together and create microgrids for yourself, nanogrids. That's what I call them, nanogrids. 4 of you come together, you can afford it. Yes.
So, I mean, I feel like so that we don't overrun the conversation, who has gotten the juice, I've gotten it. All right, so like I said, like, share, subscribe, and turn notification bell. Follow us across all our social media platforms. I remain Dakwa from Tech Economy. Till next time, stay tuned.